Yeah, gotta say it. The mail bomb stuff, total fucking bullshit. It is so obvious it's bullshit. It's not even. It's just not even funny. This is a comedy act, practically. Um, People have already all over the internet. People are like, oh, that's fascinating. A package for Mrs. Clinton. A mysterious package for Mrs. Clinton, a mysterious package for former CIA, mysterious package for former president. No, no, these did not just were so effectively put together that they just made it through the post office like a normal package. Well, Obama gets like books from Amazon all the time, and then he gets, no, no. This is one of the things that somebody actually brought up is they're like, actually, most likely these were physically dropped off. They're all dropped off at about the same time too, all over the place. Just gonna put that out there. Um, yeah, that somehow we are hearing about a former president, former first lady, and senator, and the head of State Department, former CIA, for all these people, a senator, all these people are getting are now the best part about this too is if this was supposed to be effective, one, why did none of these things explode at any stage? But two, this is what's important. Why the fuck these people? Why not Beto O'Rourke? You eliminate competition. Maxine Waters is one of the best things that's happened to the MAGA movement. Maxine Waters is a batshit loontard. It's great watching her chimp out and look like a fucking moron all the time. Well, a bunch of us are hoping Hillary Clinton runs again. Just to watch her just triple down on being a super loser who was made by her husband and very likely something like the CIA or something. Um, Shit. This is just so like the idea just to see these like liberal journalists. Oh yeah, I would call this terrorism. Da, da. Have you ever heard of Timothy motherfucking McVeigh? Like, nobody remembers the 90s. And then it goes to, don't any of you remember the 70s when there were real bombings? And it was the left who was bombing police? The left are where all the real violence is actually happening, where people are committing violence against civilians. That's almost entirely on the left side. That's almost absolutely entirely on the left. If you say Proud Boys will be someplace and they're not there, the left will start assaulting police. They've done this repeatedly, where they got baited into showing up someplace. There were no like hardcore MAGA people. There was no base stick man. There was just people, normal people, just gathering, and there comes Antifa. Messing with people, assaulting people, and then when those people are like, I'm a normal person, I'm leaving. And then fucking who's left? The police. And so Antifa assaults them. So this idea like, oh, see, now proof positive, the right's so violent. Oh my gosh. No. No. Violence the left is violent because they're desperate and incompetent. The right is potentially violent because they are competent. When the right springs into what would be called action, that will be it. And everybody understands this. I mean, everyone gets this. The left gets this, like, this is just like an evolutionary cue. You know, they see something that looks like a bear, and the hair on their neck stands up. You know, this is the same kind of thing. Everybody understands. No, no, no. If the right decides that it's motherfucking on, then it is. It's not the left. The left are just trash that gang up when they have enough numbers. They're a strength in numbers kind of thing. You have to, when the right shows up and is being hardcore right wing, like we don't know why the police won't secure this, but we will. The police have to show up and be like, guys, okay, could you please take your body armor and long rifles and please, we beg you, because we can't fucking, this can't happen. We are under strict orders to bend over and spread them. And you guys are actually going to keep the city from burning down. And the city council wants the city to burn. So you guys are going to have to take your very effective methods of protecting property, and you're going to have to go home and just accept that America is being handed to the rioters and illegal immigrants and communists. And because that happened in Ferguson, where there were people who were like, all right, I'll hold this down, I'll protect this, place, and the police would find you and be like, this is nice that you're up on the roof of this building, making sure nobody's going to burn it down, but you see, you might actually do that. You might actually be effective at doing that. And we're jerking off watching these kids swear at us. We're looking like idiots because the city council's commanded us to. And because you might actually be effective at what you do, we've got to ask you to leave. And we're going to be very polite because we all understand what's going on here. We're getting cuckolded, you're a real patriot, and this isn't our time yet. Just so people who are on the left, the moderates, the fence sitters, the baby boomers who you went out of your way, you made sure you didn't shoot any Vietnamese or Cambodians. You went out of your way, you were all about peace. That's good. That's very nice. And a few rioters needed to get laced up. An AR-15 talks real effectively to rioters, and that should have happened, because then we wouldn't have a lot of these problems. But that's the issue with the right. The right is absolutely prepared, and everybody is holding their piss over it. And so then, there's just these random moments of shit disturbation and usurpation that people like to engage in, and it doesn't matter. Oh, another thing that won't matter. It doesn't matter that people are all mad about that that trannies won't get to play soldier. This was obvious that this wasn't going to happen. It's called battle readiness. This person's literally got a gaping, bloody wound open all the time. They're on drugs that severely alter their personality. They're carcinogenic. Being transgender, you're almost opting for you better start saving up for your chemotherapy. This would cost them. Remember, and that's then the next thing is the VA costs. That this person was inordinately costly from the very beginning, and then when they're out of the service and were almost totally ineffective, they would be then costly on the other end too. Soldiery is a man's game. There's some women who can do it, but it's a man's game. Period. And that's why we were bred for it. That's why women bred men for war, and bred men for hard labor, and bred men for most elite levels of doing anything and everything. You bred us for that. Being non-cishet is disordered because human life processes that's cishet, such as how to raise offspring so that they'll survive through their adult years and produce offspring themselves. The best way of doing that is by having having very divergent roles within the family. And that we know this now, that the highest functioning peoples in the world, that this has been shown. And when they were at their best, these roles were very clear and could be seen from a distance. And that's mostly, I mean, during the early period of the baby boomers. So this would have been latest 50s, earliest 60s. Because the baby boomers at that time would have been in their youngest, they would have been like 12 to around, it would have been, because 45 is when the baby boomers happen. So it's 63 when they're 18. So, you see the best happen around latest 50s to the 60s. The greatest example, all the wealth, all of the learning, everything. You see some of the highest achieved people in human recollection as a mass group all happen then. That's why microwaves became so commonplace. You can now buy them fully functional, used at places put there so homeless people can buy things. So people who are totally destitute in America can easily afford a used microwave that still functions. I could record this on this phone because of a generation of boomers that had learned ASCII. So, there's just a lot of these misunderstandings that people are having about the real world and how things really operate, and realpolitik, and especially a lot of the dirty chicanery that's happening by these people who want global central planning run by industrialists, and they are called Democrats. Because the Republicans have thrown these motherfuckers out. We threw them out on their ear. The Bush family no longer shows up to Republican conventions. They haven't now for 2 years. The Bush family doesn't exist anymore in the world of Republicans. In fact, there are Democratic, leftist-ass journalists who are praising the Bush family for them talking a bunch of shit about Trump. That's where you Democrats are at now. That's who your team is. The Bush family and trannies who want to kill people. But that's not right. That isn't accurate. Yeah. Eat shit, commies.